Hey everyone, this is NJ. I'm so glad that you came back for day 5 of the In His Stocking Advent Calendar. We're on chapter 2, and we're hitting part 3 today. Um, Bryn and Anthony had just made love and fucked wildly, if you will. And Bryn had said to him, "That was awesome, but I really have to go." So, without further ado, Chapter 2, Part 3. Anthony sat up, a bit shocked. It was rare a woman asked to leave his bed. Had she not enjoyed it like he'd thought? What? No round 2? Bryn smirked. You have a round 2 in you? Oh, hell, it was on. He grabbed her wrists and pinned them over her head. I could go all night. Can you keep up? Bryn looked into his eyes, and her heart began to race. There was a fire there that she'd never had with a man. The chemistry was incredible. It both excited and scared her. Where was her snarky remark? Her words were lost. His seemed to be too. While still holding her wrists with one hand, he pulled off the condom with the other. Bryn watched in amazement as he tore open a new package and rolled the condom on with one hand. She wasn't sure if she was more impressed with his skill at applying a condom or the fact that he was still rock hard. She wasn't sure of his age, but he had to be in his 30s like her. Perhaps he'd taken a blue pill, she thought to herself. Anthony was nearly as amazed. He'd always had a quick recovery, but never this fast. Tonight, his cock seemed insatiable. The woman beneath him had awoken his desires. The fact she'd nearly just dismissed him made him want her even more. Finally breaking their stare, he lowered his head and kissed her neck, just below her ear. He sucked the delicate skin into his mouth, causing Bryn to moan. He started to slide into her, but changed his mind. Her face was beautiful, her breasts perfect, but he wanted to see her ass. She was small, he was strong. It only took him a second to flip her over onto her stomach. She gasped in surprise and instinctively scrambled to her hands and knees. Perfect, he said, giving her ass a light swat. Then, a bit more roughly, he grabbed hold of her hair and pulled her head back just a bit. Tell me what you want. He allowed enough slack so that she could turn her head. He had to see her face. If she looked at all frightened, he'd have let her go instantly. Anthony liked it rough, but he was no rapist. He'd never force himself on a woman. He needn't have worried. The look in her eyes matched his own. Lust. Tell me what you want, he repeated. Bryn knew what she wanted. They'd had great sex the first time, and she'd been ready to go. But this was animalistic and the most turned on she'd ever been in her life. She knew what she wanted, and she said it with purpose. I want you to fuck me. Her wish was Anthony's command. Kneeling between her legs, he held her ass cheeks and slid his cock into her already wet pussy. This new position allowed him to go even deeper into her body. He started off slow, just gentle thrusts, but quickly he picked up the pace. It wasn't long before Bryn's breasts were swaying to the rhythm of Anthony's fucking. Oh, God, yes! Bryn cried out when his cock found just the right spot inside her. Anthony thrust harder and tugged on her hair. You like this? He growled. Yes. Fuck yes. Bryn cried out. Fuck me harder. Anthony was so turned on by her words, he did as she wished and slammed into her, fucking her harder and faster than he had ever fucked a woman. He expected her to beg him to stop, but no such words came from her mouth. In fact, she was begging him to keep going. Her breasts were swinging wildly as he pounded her body. Anthony grabbed on and squeezed. You like that, don't you, baby? Oh, was all Bryn could manage as a response. She was so lost in the feeling that she could barely think. Her body was covered in a sheen of sweat as she pushed back against his thrust, making him go even deeper. She whimpered and moaned, screamed and yelled as he brought her to orgasm. Her tight pussy clamped down on his cock. "Shit, baby, I'm gonna come," Anthony cried out. Instead of burying himself in her as he had done the last time, he pulled out and ripped off the condom. He held his cock in his hand like a fireman with a hose and shot his cum all over Bryn's ass. "Fuck, that felt good," he said a moment later, climbing off the bed. "Just give me a moment, baby, and I'll clean that up." Bryn lay there, exhausted, yet more awake than she had been in a long time. The sex had been incredible. She couldn't remember better. His hands had been in all the right places, his mouth generous, yet greedy, and his cock had been spectacular. "Just another minute. The water's taking forever to warm up." Bryn could hear the sink running and decided to join him in the bathroom. A little cum didn't bother her. "Maybe the shower," she suggested, coming up behind him. Neither Anthony nor Bryn planned on taking a shower together, but that was exactly what happened. It started out as Bryn washing the cum off her ass, but then deciding to take a full shower since she'd been sweaty. Anthony joined her, offering to wash her. Bryn had returned the favor, and before she knew it, she was on her knees, the warm water running over her body, with Anthony's cock in her mouth. He groaned in pleasure and fisted her wet hair as she licked and sucked him until he was hard once again. "It feels amazing," he said, stroking her hollowed-out cheek. She was sucking him so hard he had trouble standing. His knees were constantly going weak. When her hand cupped his balls and fondled them, he cried out in pleasure. Her tongue felt unbelievable, licking and teasing his shaft and tip, then sucking hard as she bobbed her head up and down fast. Anthony didn't know he had a third orgasm in him, but he found out when his balls tightened, and he had that unmistakable feeling. "Baby, I'm gonna come," he warned her. He didn't know her well enough to know if she swallowed or not. To his pleasant surprise, she did. She looked up at him from her knees and swallowed all of him as the warm water continued to wash over both of them. Well, I hope you enjoyed this steamy little part. An entire day of just sex. Well, there you go. My little gift to you. Tomorrow on the 6th, we'll finish up this chapter, and then we'll be in for a little bit of surprise coming up at the beginning of the week.